I'm often criticized for a lot of things, but I'm often criticized for saying I'm out of touch. You don't know what you're talking about because you haven't been there and done that. No, I stay in really close touch, so I really actually do know exactly what is going on in the world of money and in the world of your finances. Uh, what I am in touch with is the fact that I'm old, which means I've seen more than some of you have seen. Been there, done that. So an example of that is when I tell people, and Anthony O'Neill, our Ramsey personality, tells people in his new book, Debt Free Degree, that you can go to college and work your way through. Oh, no, Dave. That only happened back when you roamed the earth with the dinosaurs. In today's world, with college as expensive as it is, that is impossible, says people who can't run a calculator. So, no, you cannot go to college and work 10 hours a week at Burger King being a Whopper flopper at minimum wage. You cannot do that. By the way, in 1982, when I graduated from college, you couldn't do it then either. Minimum wage has never been enough to get you through college. So I don't know which one of you socialist idiots figured out a way that minimum wage was somehow supposed to pay you enough to go through college. No, you have to work at something that pays more than minimum wage, and you have to work more than 10 hours a week, and then you can pay for college. For instance, it is very normal around here. When I ask someone doing their debt-free scream what their side gig was, they say delivering pizza, and I say, how much did you make? $1,500 a month working 4 to 5 nights a week, which, by the way, in case you don't know what nights means, it means all your days are open to go to class. Your nights are not open to play beer pong or to get rushed in the fraternity. Oh, wah. We're talking about getting an education here, getting a degree and learning something. This is the goal. So, if you actually cut grass, walked dogs, or you were a nanny, the average is 20 to 20. Oh, clean houses. That's a good one. Get on your hands and knees and scrub a freaking toilet out. $25 an hour on average. $20 an hour on average. 40 hours a week, 30 hours a week while you go to school. I worked 40 to 60 hours a week when I was in school, and you can pay for the average tuition in America for an in-state college, which is $12,000 a year. Now, that does not include living in the dorms. And the Atlantic is publishing an article. Being a college student is a lot comfier than it used to be. This fall, many of the undergrads settling into their campus dwellings will find themselves in buildings far better appointed than the ones they're now graying, that would be me, alumni once called home. Yeah, the dorms that were there when I went to college looked very similar to prisons. It was a concrete block freaking wall with a metal thing attached to it that you put a bad mattress on and called it a room. Oh, and by the way, you shared it with other individuals, as opposed to a bunch of you who have grown up never having shared a room with anyone. Because, well, we couldn't have that. It would be a dysfunctional family where we'd all just share rooms. Most of us in another generation grew up sharing rooms. We learned to have these things called relationships in our family as a result. Sometimes the relationships were good, sometimes they were bad, but we had relationships because we were sharing things. Now most people don't know the name of their next door neighbor, and they for sure don't know the person on the other side of their next door neighbor, and they take that off to college with them because their kids were trained that way, and they don't know how to have relationships down the hallway unless it's over Instagram. They don't know how to sit and talk to another human being, eyeball to eyeball, kneecap to kneecap. And so we have to have our own private rooms in the dorms. These students are the beneficiaries of a generation of construction that has spawned ritzy new dorms and other facilities, the article says, at many colleges, as well as, more infamously, such amenities as rock climbing walls and lazy rivers in the dorms. You're kidding me. So college costs a lot more than it used to cost. You used to stay in a concrete block wall room with another student that cost a few dollars to put up per student. Now you're staying there with multiple devices on Wi-Fi. We want to make the architectural digest with our dorm room building, says one college. And campus living has entered a new era. For most of the history of American higher education, dormitories were not particularly comfortable or even plentiful. And yet we say you cannot afford to go to college today, and Dave, you can't work your way through. Well, would it be reasonable for me to submit to you that part of the increased cost of your college going through the roof would be the fact that the quality and the amenities of your housing for students has gone crazy? Thus, the cost went crazy. Would that be too illogical for some of you to grasp? So you're paying for this crap, in other words. Now, in my case, I lived off campus in we called it the cabin. It was a shanty that had no heat that my grandfather built on the side of the river, and I got to live there. I thought it was cool because it was on the river, and I liked to water ski. But, it was pretty cool until we figured out it didn't have stinking heat, and we had to get up and light a fire in the morning to get warm in the winter. Next winter, we put in a heater, by God. That was ridiculous. But, yeah, well, that's where I stayed. And one winter, I didn't have the money to go back to college, and I ended up cutting firewood. Do you know if you cut enough firewood and sell it to people who want like a cord of wood, a rick of wood, with a chainsaw and a splitter, that you can go back to school? As long as the school's not trying to finance in your tuition a lazy river ride. See the problem? I don't know where people think that, you got your own little Ritz-Carlton going here for your little baby snowflake, and then you wonder why these stinking tuition rates have gone through the roof, why housing costs for college has gone through the roof. It's not simply that they're providing the same exact thing they used to provide. They're providing 10x of what they used to provide. They're charging 12x of what they used to provide. And oh yeah, you can afford to go to school still if you go to an in-state school, community college, and you work a job that actually pays and you work it a lot. Check out Anthony's new book, Debt Free Degree. It'll show you every bit of that, but it won't hook you up with a dorm with a lazy river ride. Lord, help us.